Hi, my name is Kristinita and it's my first video on YouTube. Lately I started actively using my Instagram and there I was posting stories and posts about Croatia. I moved to Croatia 2 weeks ago and I'm here for the volunteering project which will last for half of the year. So I decided to open my channel on YouTube and tell here about my life in Croatia, what I'm doing here, maybe to share some of my trips and to show Croatia as a country, and if I get the opportunity, maybe some other countries as well. Because as you know, there are COVID limitations right now and it's so hard to travel nowadays, especially for citizens of some countries, for example Ukraine. I am from Ukraine and there are so many countries who don't permit Ukrainians to enter. So in this video I would like to share my experience of my way from Kyiv to Zagreb. The most difficult part was to organize this way from Kyiv to Zagreb. First I looked up the plane tickets and I found some good ones from Kyiv to Warsaw and from Warsaw to Zagreb. But then occasionally I got to know that Poland doesn't accept Ukrainians to enter. So that's why I decided maybe there are other ways how I can go there, and I checked that there was a bus which goes 38 hours from Kyiv to Zagreb and it crosses Hungary and Austria. It could be an option if there is nothing else. So the next day I called this bus company and wanted to ask them, according to their experience, if Hungary and Austria accept Ukrainians. But they told me that cannot give me the answer and I have to contact Ukrainian border service and ask them. I called them and they told me that as I'm a citizen of Ukraine, they will let me out, but they are not sure if the European country, Hungary in my case, will let me in. I had to know which countries I would need to cross and call to the embassies of those countries to make sure.
So you're not improvising. You're not improvising.
No, I have a scenario, but it's so, it's so hard because of the noise. So first I called to the embassy of Poland. It was true that Poland doesn't accept Ukrainians. They accept only those ones who are the residents of Poland or the residents of the European Union, but I am not. So I couldn't even have a transit there at the airport of Warsaw. Then I called to the embassy of Hungary and asked them if it's possible to have a transit in Hungary for Ukrainians. And they also told me that it's not possible because Ukraine is in the red zone and there was no way for me to go through Hungary, and logically if I couldn't go through Hungary I couldn't also go through Austria and I had to look for some more options. I checked on the internet which countries accept Ukrainians which are close to Croatia, and I got to know that actually Serbia and Montenegro they both accept Ukrainians to enter. I checked plane tickets to those countries and I could find a good ticket from Kyiv to Minsk and from Minsk to Belgrade, Serbia. From Serbia I could go to Zagreb by bus, and that actually was the way. I talked to my coordinator and we agreed that I would go through Serbia and he would meet me on the Croatian border. So the system was like this: I would go from Kyiv to Minsk by plane, then from Minsk to Belgrade by plane, and then there I take a bus from the airport of Belgrade to border with Croatia. Then I walk 15 meters to cross the border, and on the other side my coordinator had to meet me. This was the plan. There appeared one more problem. I got sick. I had a usual cold. I was coughing and my throat was paining. I had my nose running, so that's why it was actually a problem, because they were just 3 days before I had to fly and I was afraid that at the airport they wouldn't let me in. I had to cancel so many meetings with my friends in order to stay at home and get better as fast as possible. And of course I had to make a COVID test because it was compulsory. At the Croatian border I had to show negative COVID test, of course, my booking of the accommodation. So I did that.
I'm going to make my COVID test now because it's the compulsory requirement for entering Croatia. I'm a little bit worried, but I'm sure everything will be fine.
But the other problem was that I had to find a clinic in Kyiv which makes this test, COVID test, faster than the others. My test had to be valid for 48 hours since the time it was taken. It means that I had to make this test the day before my departure, otherwise it would be expired. And I found the clinic, and actually the test was quite expensive. It was like 80 euros. I received the result in the evening in English and in Ukrainian, and I thought, okay, that's fine, that's gonna work. I was packing my things, and it was such a busy day on Wednesday. I had to complete so many tasks. Couldn't sleep this night from Wednesday to Thursday because my plane was leaving approximately at 6 a.m.
Просто как будто переезжаю третий раз в своей жизни. Покушайте чемоданы. Такая ситуация, когда выключили лифт. А здесь килограмм 25 будет.
I came to the airport at 3:30 a.m. At the airport they checked my temperature, and then I decided to check the weight of my luggage because I was feeling that it would be overweight. Actually, yes, it was. I had one big bag. The maximum weight could be 23 kilos, but mine was 27. I didn't want to pay for one more bag, so that's why I decided to throw away the mask for my hair, put on some heavy clothes like a coat and a hoodie. So eventually the weight was 2300. But when I went to check in my bags, they said because I also had a backpack, I need to pay an extra bag. Yes, unfortunately I had to pay for it. I just felt sorry that I already threw away my mask for the hair. I paid 50 euros more. Went for the check-in, everything was fine. And I would say on the road everything went smoothly.
Билетики прям под цвет паспорта.
To Minsk, they didn't check my temperature and they didn't check my test for the COVID. And then in the afternoon I took a plane to Belgrade. Belgrade, the station was the same. They didn't ask me for my test. They didn't ask anything. They didn't ask my insurance.
I'm already in Serbia. Just took my luggage right now. And I'm going out to find a person who is going to take me to the border with Croatia. And then from there to Zagreb.
Then I went out and I took a bus from Belgrade to the border with Croatia. The driver was Serbian, who didn't speak very good English. I knew that Serbian is quite similar to Ukrainian, so that's why I decided why don't we try to speak in different languages and let's see how good we understand each other. And actually it worked. We could have a conversation. It was nice and funny. I arrived to the border. The officer only asked me my booking. He didn't ask me the COVID test, which also was strange. He put a stamp on my passport, and then I went to the Croatian side, and there I met with my coordinator and we went to Zagreb. I hope that my experience was useful for you and this video was interesting. I would be really grateful if you subscribe, write a comment and put like, and see you in the next videos.